I'm John Pinkerton, and we're taking a look around the Moon River Brewing Company here in Savannah, Georgia. So, shall we go inside? Here we are in the epicenter. This is the brew house with all kinds of crap piled everywhere. Chris Lady's actually mashing in behind us. I just got done doing a transfer. And basically the way we work here is I'll come in on a brewing day, I'll come in early in the morning and empty the tank, and whether that means filtering the beer down to the cellar or just transferring it. And then by the time I get done cleaning the tank, it's usually about noon, and Chris will come in about that time and go ahead and start mashing in, and he'll usually wrap up somewhere between 8 and 10 o'clock in the evening. So.
And how many beers do you usually have on?
Well, our goal is to always have at least 6 beers on. Now there are times when we can actually get caught up enough to have as many as, say, 10 beers on at a time. But usually 10 is pretty much our limit in terms of how many taps, regular taps we have. We also have a cask, we have a beer engine to serve cask ale. We try to do at least 1 cask a week. We have a couple spots in the cask cooler for gas taps. So we have 2 extra taps that we can use as gas taps. So we'll have, like, we try to keep, say, Schneider Weiss on tap, unless there's a special Schneider product for a given season, or just try to keep 1 tap at least rotating for Belgians. So here comes Chris Lady. You want to say hi? Hello, everyone. Back up to the mill. We don't have a proper grist case, so we basically mash or mill into the mash tun. So we basically run back and forth, adding bags into the hopper and the grain mill.
And this brew pub started as Oglethorpe Brewing Company back in, you remember the year?
Well, let's see. It's 2008. We started in '99. They were open for about 2 years, just under 2 years. So that would be 97.
97. Okay.
97ish. I was told there'd be no math.
And this is a very old building in Savannah. It used to be a hotel. So walk us through here and show us what you've had to do to kind of Frankenstein the brewery, okay?
Yeah, this is an ancient building, and without being too critical of the folks who designed the brewery originally, the folks in the Oglethorpe Brewing Company, part of the issue with dealing with an old building is that if you don't go back and reinforce a lot of the infrastructure, you're going to have some serious problems. And of course, that's what we have to deal with now, is the serious problems that come as a result. The floors have always been the big issue, and we're still struggling with that today. In fact, there's really no way to do anything about these floors without moving all of the equipment out and basically starting from scratch. And we really can't do that and stay open as a brew pub. So the game plan right now is to get a production brewery set up at some point, do some legal mumbo jumbo to make it all legitimate with the state, and then Gene can, at his leisure, sort of rebuild this as an adequate brew house, so that Moon River will always have its own brewery, but I'll own another facility, in another part of town that also makes Moon River, but just under 2 separate ownerships.
Right, that would be ideal.
It's very convoluted, I'm sorry.
You actually had part of the brew house kind of cave in a little bit, right?
We did, yeah.
Where
Take
was
a look
that?
at the other side of the kettle here. Yeah, a couple of years ago, the feet, the kettle, this foot right here, literally kind of poked through the floor. And it was about that time that we realized that the concrete in the floor was just grossly inadequate to be holding the kind of weights that these vessels possess. So we ended up putting this vessel on stilts, if you will. The steel beam posts go down into my cellar and are supported on the floor of the cellar. And then on top of this post, we have these I-beams So the kettle, the entire brew house could fall in now, and the kettle would still be standing here.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so that's something of a blessing. It's always bad when stuff like that happens. You end up losing a lot of production time, and not to mention just the embarrassment of it all. But then we ended up just putting some steel plates under the mash tun, essentially just to give it, to kind of spread the load out a little bit. But we're doing the best we can with what we've got here.
Yeah, and you've done a great job.
Hopefully people will perceive this as, when you go to Belgium and you see these breweries where you just can't believe they're making such delicious beer in such a wacky cave-like place. That's sort of like how we roll.
Right. You guys have made some incredible beers, lots of award winners. So
thank you, sir.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, if we had this on Smell-O-Vision, you could actually smell the pale malt coming into the mash tun. Chris is actually mashing it in a batch of IPA.
Smells great.
And as a UGA graduate, Chris is flying the colors there next to our little shoot guy.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Chris, have you learned a lot working in Moon River?
Not really.
Not really.
Yeah, John's been a great teacher. He's taught me a whole lot. Had a lot of the science behind brewing, but not actually related to it. And John's taught me how to take what I've already learned and applying it to the brewing industry. It's been great.
Your background at UGA was food science, right?
That's correct. Food science.
Excellent.
So, all that science, the microbiology, chemistry, physics, thermodynamics, already had a basis in it. Just learned how to apply it towards brewing.
Great. Okay.
And we've been benefiting from it ever since he's been here.
Okay.
The brain center of the brew house, and of course this being the brain center of the restaurant. This is Gene Bico. Gene is my business partner. He basically really keeps this thing going on the restaurant side, and I basically just generally make a nuisance of myself.
Everybody needs a Gene.
Man, that's right.
That's right, everybody needs a Gene.
I don't know what I'd be doing if I didn't have him. So take a look behind the bar and take a look at the lineup here.
Okay.
So basically just kind of working our way down the line here, starting with our Savannah Pale Ale. Savannah is basically a low alcohol pale ale. We treat it just like an IPA though, so my whole goal with this beer was to essentially create a beer that drinks like an IPA, but you can drink more than a couple of without feeling like you've got to lay down. We're missing our wit beer. I just transferred wit down this morning, so I'll have that on tap here in just a little bit. We've got our Savannah Fest beer. That's one of our flagships. That's the beer that you see all around town here in Savannah. A couple places have the IPA on tap. Fix that. There we go. The IPA is a sort of classic West Coast style. Very hoppy, dry hop the bejesus out of it, so got a lot of good hop, fresh hop character there. Porter is, we call it a London style porter. Honestly, everybody makes a porter kind of their own way. There are some specified styles, but I don't believe in either of them on a matter of principle. But this is John Pinkerton style porter.
Okay.
Sweeter, chocolatey.
Right.
At GABF, we ended up entering it as a sweet stout because that's just the category that it fits in.
Oh, okay.
Of course, we haven't won anything yet with it, but we'll get there eventually.
Okay.
This is our Irish Dry Stout. We try to keep a stout on all year, so we just try to rotate different styles of stout. Our Kolsch beer was the one that we won a medal with at the GABF a number of years ago.
That was a silver medal, right?
The silver medal in the Kolsch style category. We call it Claire de Lune. The Tater Ale is our seasonal. Basically, we mash in a bunch of sweet potatoes into our grain mash, and then it comes out basically like an English mild. But we put the tater spice, the sweet potato pie spice, on the rim of the glass, combined with roasted pumpkin seed.
Okay.
Anyways, it looks like we're out of time, but
yeah. Come on down to Moon River if you're ever in Savannah, right?
Yeah,
downtown.
absolutely. Please come and see us. We're the only brewery in town, so we're pretty easy to find. Cheers.